All right, Shalom, Israel, Shalom, 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 Shalom. Peace and blessing to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. First and foremost, want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. In the name of His only begotten Son, the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end. Also, shout out to the sister Miriam Bethany that anointed our King with the precious ointment before his burial. Also, shout out to our ancestors that came before us that chose death before dishonor. Um, Today Wednesday, so we come at you with a Wisdom Wednesday lesson. And the title of this video is called "Diving into the Torah," or "That's in the Torah." Lesson, a series I've been doing on my main channel, man. Just getting into the Torah, getting into different things. People may have knew or people may have didn't know that was in the Torah, man. Rather, it's going into the sacrifices, the dietary law, how to treat your neighbor, just different things like that into the law, man. So I'm gonna touch on a little bit of those things in the law, or we gonna touch on a little bit of those things in the law tonight. We ain't gonna have you long, but before we get into the lesson, now to get the blowing of the shofar to start it off.
God.
You know how it go, right? All praise to the Most High, man. So the first one we're gonna get is Leviticus 11. We're gonna really get verse 7 through 9. But if you read the whole Leviticus chapter 11, it's a dietary law. The Lord got a whole dietary law in the Holy Bible on things that He say we could eat and things that He said we couldn't eat. So, you have people ask, what can we eat? What did God say we can eat this? Can we eat pork? Can we eat chicken? Um can we eat alligator tail? Right? Can we eat possum? People ask these things and they don't know where to go to find out in the Bible. It's in Leviticus chapter 11. So we're gonna jump down to and you see verse 2, it tells you these are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts are on the earth. So can we get Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 7?
This is Leviticus chapter 11 and verse number 7. It says, "And the swine, though he divideth the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you."
So the reason why, a lot of times you may see brothers at on the streets teaching, and they may go out of all the scriptures in Leviticus 11, they'll go to Leviticus 7 and read through 7 through 9. And the reason why we get these scriptures most of the time is because these are the main things our people love to eat. Our people love to eat more, but these are the main things that our people it's hard for our people to let go. And we have to show them that God said we can't eat these things because they're not good. And He just said not to. He said not to, and it's for a reason. But the swine is another name for the pig, right? You got your pork bacon, your sausage, your ham, your pepperoni, your pork meat lovers, your
Pork chops,
pork chops,
pork rinds,
pig feet, chitlins,
spam,
ham. These
hot
are all,
dogs,
what you said?
hot dogs.
Yeah, hot dogs, certain hot dogs, you know what I'm saying? But these are all those are things that come from the swine, or what you call the pig. It say, though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. He get verse 8.
Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you.
So the Bible is telling you that you're not supposed to eat the Bible says you're not supposed to eat the swine. So you know how people love to eat pork. Even back in slavery, that's all the slave master really fed our people was pig. So now, especially in the South, you looked at kind of weird if you tell them that you don't eat pork, because they like, you know, you in the South, bro. What you mean you don't eat pork? But the Lord said we're not supposed to eat that animal, because when you look into the pig, man, a lot of reasons why people got health problems and they go into the doctor and they wonder what's going on within their body. Sometimes the doctor tell them, sometimes they don't, but sometimes they tell them, hey, you need to lay off the pork. You know, when you look into just the pig is a nasty animal and it carries diseases inside of it. It was never made to be eaten. A pig was made to keep the earth clean and eat the waste. That's why when you have a pig on a farm, and a farmer, he throws the pig slop and things that he don't want, and the pig gonna eat it. The pig can eat anything. So don't they say you are what you eat? So why would you want to eat a pig, or a pig, or what they call a swine? Why would you want to eat that if it's nasty and it gives you health problems and diseases? So he said you're not supposed to eat it. Then he said you're not supposed to touch the carcass of that pig. So when you see you ain't supposed to touch a dead pig at all. That's how disgusting it is. He said it's unclean to you. So when you have people eating pork, you gotta understand that's a sin. Right? Let me prove that. Let me get a scripture real quick. This how we know it's a sin. That's a spirit right there. Boom. This how we know it's a sin. Can a brother read this?
1 John 3:4. Whosoever committed sin transgresses also the law, for sin is a transgression of the law.
Right. So how we know something is a sin, because you have a lot of people nowadays, they say stuff is sin. That's a sin. That's a sin. But how do we prove that something is a sin according to the Bible, instead of people just maybe saying something to sin because they may think it is. They may grow up thinking that something was a sin. But how do we know? We know it's a sin because sin is the transgression of the law. So when you go into the law, which is the Torah, the first 5 books, and anything the Lord said don't do, and a person is doing it, that's a sin. And we go to the law and we clearly see the Lord said don't eat swine's flesh. Don't eat the flesh of this animal. So if somebody still decides to do it, it's a sin. Or touch the carcass of that animal, it's a sin. So no pork, stay away from the pork. I know people think it's a Muslim thing and Islam came up with it. No, they got that from the Torah. They got that from the Bible, right? The Bible says stay away from the pig, man, because if you want to live longer, and you want to have better health, stay away from that pig, man. A lot of our people got heart problems. A lot of them got diabetes, got all different type of things going on within their body. A lot of times you ask them what you eating. A lot of times they're gonna say, you ask when they eat pork. Yeah, I eat that. I eat pork. Now I love pork chops. I love bacon. I can't put the bacon down. I love the shrimp. I love the crabs. Right now, and that's why they in the situation they in right now keep going back and forth to the hospital with health problems, because it's what they're eating and consuming in their body. God told them not to do it.
Yeah, I was just eating with some coworkers yesterday, and I got some grilled chicken, and they had fried pork chops. And while I'm eating my grilled chicken, somebody said, my supervisor, he was like, "These fried pork chops are amazing. They are so great." Then the white gentleman next to me, he's over here busting down, sucking his fingers. I'm getting irritated because he's sucking his fingers. First of all, he got his fork and he's scraping rice on top of the pork chop and eating the pork chop. I'm like, bro, it's no way. I'm looking at two Eve over there. They look very well put together. They look like one of them looks like they might be a professor. The other one looks, what I'm saying? They look and put together. But I can't trust you
because you swallowing pork chops. How you look that put together and you swallowing fried pork chops, man? You know what I'm saying? But that's our people nowadays, man. We love it. We can't imagine life without it, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, a lot of certain foods got spirits on them, man. Right? Certain foods carry spirits. That's why when you read into the New Testament, the demons wanted to go into the pig. Right? The demons wanted to go into the pig, because the pig is a nasty, dirty animal, and they wanted to dwell in the pig, man. So you eating the things God told you not to eat, and you trying to make an excuse saying, well, Paul said this, right? Paul said it's clean now. Now we can eat, we can pray over it now, even though that's not what he was talking about. He wasn't talking about that, but people would like to say that, but they don't understand that, you eating something that God told you not to eat, it can carry demons inside you, man. That's why most people that be having these that be possessed, and these people that be bugging out a lot of times, they eat pork. Just think about the people that that's not mentally there. think about what they eating. Think about what they eating. But can the brother get verse 9?
Verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever has fins and scales in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
So now we getting into the things that's in the water. The Bible said, if you eat something that comes out the water, make sure it gotta have fins and scales. Any animal that comes out the water, it gotta have fins and scales. Simple as that. The Lord made it simple. Those shall you eat. They got fins and scales. Now, it says, all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, that should be an abomination to you. So the Bible said you can't eat something that comes out the water that doesn't have fins and scales. So when you think about a lot of things our people eat that come out the water that don't got fins and scales, they eat the crabs. Crabs don't got fins and scales. Shrimp don't got fins and scales. Oysters don't got fins and scales. Alligator don't got fins and scales. Shark don't got fins and scales. Frogs, I know some people eat frog legs. They don't got fins and scales. Crawfish don't got fins and scales. Catfish, right?
Lately, I've been seeing a lot of crawdad, crawfish being eaten on my timeline. All I see is just pounds and pounds of red crawfish on people's social medias, man. And it's only Jake, man. We think it's not even that much meat in those things, man.
Nah, it ain't, bro.
And they make it seem like it's so good. Come on, bro.
And this is why the water is so dirty. This is why when you go to certain places and you wondering why the water is so dirty, it's because they taking all the creatures out the water that was made to keep the water clean, and you eating them. You eating a sea roach. That's what you eating. The crawfish, the shrimp, the crab, and the lobster, they got the same job as a roach in the sea. The only difference is one in the sea and one of them on land. They both do the same thing. And the brother made a point. It ain't even that much meat in it. I remember I used to love crab legs, but I used to have to eat a lot of them to get full, because it's like it ain't that much meat in it. It ain't that much meat inside the crab legs, man. And I'm spending all my money on this. What you saying?
And you gotta work to get it in. You gotta work to get the meat out. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes if you crack it the wrong way, you done the meat all mushed up and kind of disintegrate and be like, dang, you can't even eat it. Now you gotta move on to the next one. I hope you crack it right the next one. Pause. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you were feeling good when you cracked it perfect and it just came out. But that wasn't guaranteed all the time, though.
It wasn't.
You might crack it and you get a little piece. You like, dang, what's going on? You trying to chew on it like a little small piece. Then you may get the big piece. It's like, So it's like, man, it's like, is that worth it? God told you not to do it. Is it worth it? You going to still do it when he told you not to do it? Right? And these things, like I was saying, these things were made to keep the water clean. You're not supposed to be eating these things. They try to make you seem like it. They try to make it seem like you got money. If you go to these places and they give you like the little bill, then you get the little Ziploc bag with the sausage in it, with the egg, with the crabs in it. You think you're doing good. You think you're doing good, not knowing that you eating sea roaches. If they came out and said that you eating sea roaches, would you pick up a whole bunch of roaches and throw the roaches in a pot and cook them and eat them? People would say no, I wouldn't do that. But that's the same thing you doing when you cooking these shrimp. They sea roaches. You getting sea roaches and you put them in the pot and you cooking them and eating them. Only reason you doing it is because it's normalized. If people called it how it was and say these things were roaches and they disgusting, you wouldn't eat them. But so if you eat anything that come out the water, it gotta have both fins and scales. It gotta have both of them. Just like with a catfish. A catfish got fins, but it don't got scales. See, you can't eat it. And what the catfish do is always at the bottom of the water, right? Eating the nasty things of the water. So that's why the Lord said, don't stay away from them as well. And let me get this scripture real quick right here, because this proof that because you have people say, well, that's in the Old Testament and we can eat it now. But this future prophecy in Isaiah is proof that we still can't eat swine's flesh or any abomination. But you can, brother, get this?
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 66 and verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire.
So this is how we know that this is prophecy and that this haven't happened yet. Because had the Lord came back yet? No. Have he came back with fire yet? No. Has he came back with chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger with fury? No, he has not. So this is how we know that when Isaiah was writing this, it was future prophecy, and we haven't seen this time yet. So let's keep going.
Verse 16. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Verse number 17. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord.
Right. So the Bible saying, man, when Christ come back and make his return, it's gonna be some people that's trying to be slick and eat these things that he said not to eat. So he said they're gonna be consumed, meaning destroyed. When he come back and he find out people eating swine's flesh and the abomination, the things that he said not to eat, they're gonna be consumed together with that fire. Now, this is, like I said, this is future prophecy. You can't get around this. Yes, it's in the Old Testament, but it's still future prophecy that haven't happened yet. That gotta happen, right? It's gonna be some people that die when he come back and get put to death because they finna eat. They biting down on a pork chop sandwich. You're gonna have some people die when they chewing on some crab legs. You're gonna kill them, chop their head off. So this just show you, man, that the Lord law stands, right? And you can't add or take away from the word. If anybody's saying Paul saying now we can eat anything, y'all saying Paul is taking away from the word. Y'all saying he's taking away from what the law said. He wasn't doing that, right? But yeah, that's going into things that we can eat, right? Now we're gonna switch over to something else that's in the law. Can the brother read this?
Get back on me.
I think it's on me. Leviticus 19:15. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor.
Right. So in the law, This is why I don't understand why people like to say the law is done away with, or they try to get rid of the law so much, but they don't understand that why would you want to get rid of what the law? Why would you want to get rid of this? The Lord said, you should do no unrighteousness in judgment. So if you're judging a matter, you can't have respect of persons because you may know this person, or this person may have money. You got to judge righteously. You got to hear the matter out, and you got to judge the matter fairly. But a lot of people don't do that nowadays. A lot of people show favor because, oh, this man got money. Oh, I went to school with him. I'm gonna look out for him. That's my dad. That's my mom, right? That's my cousin. I know them kin folks, so I'm always look out for them no matter what. Right? Or what's the saying? I'm a right. What they
right,
say now?
Wrong, or indifferent.
Yup. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm a ride whether you right or wrong. No, you can't do that, bro. You can't ride with a person whether they right or wrong. If they wrong, tell them they wrong. That's why a lot of our people, a lot of our community is destroyed because people not telling people the truth, or they not judging matters correctly. They're not judging matters fairly. You know, they doing it because of a person they may know. So they not being fair on both sides. The Lord said, if you judge a matter, you have to be fair on both sides. If that person you know wrong and that other person you know, that other person that you don't know, he in the right, you have to tell that person that you don't know, hey, you right. You got to tell your other person that you may know, hey, you wrong on you wrong on this point, and they may be mad at you. They may be mad at you, but what the Lord said is you got to be fair on all ends of judgment. You know, any brother has something on this? Let me get the next verse. Whoever next.
It's the next verse.
Yeah, this the next. Whoever reading after you. This this came before 15. I probably should have brought this one out first. Okay, but it's all right.
I'll read it again. Verse 13. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning.
So basically, according to the law, we really supposed to be getting paid before it's dark. Daily, man. You know, according to the law, you know, they like to pay us once a week or twice a week. But really, according to the law, we really supposed to get paid, you know, every day. You know, every day before the sun, they say with the all, you ain't supposed to keep the pay all night until the morning. You supposed to give them that they work that they did that day. You supposed to pay them for that work, and that would help people. That would help a lot of our people from being poor, man. To be honest, they doing work and they getting paid that same day.
What Jake always say, hey man, you can spot me just till Friday, till next Friday. I get paid next Friday. Yeah. you can spot me till. And that's because of this law is not in effect, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's still waiting on their money. It wasn't no QuickBooks. It wasn't no HR. It was somebody did the work, you paid them. Yeah. Right? It wasn't no, I gotta wait 30 days. Oh, I don't got the money. How you got me doing something you ain't got the money for it yet?
That's what I'm saying.
It wasn't none of that. But we live in a system now to where they're scamming us every day.
Every day.
Taxes, you know, what always got me was the fact that they take taxes out and then we got to do our taxes. So what was the point of y'all taking the taxes out if we still got to do our taxes? You know, but
just take them all out, bro. So we don't have to go back and do it at the end of the year, bro.
Right.
Just
then
take them out right then and there,
man. So then they take taxes out. And then you have to do your taxes. And if you don't do your taxes, then they fault you for not doing your taxes, even though they've been taking a tax out every check.
Yeah, you know,
then you gotta pay taxes on everything you buy.
Not to go
off.
Don't
make no sense.
Oh, boy,
not to go off not to go off topic, but there's talks about them changing the tax system, right, to where you don't have to pay taxes anymore, quote unquote, right?
Income tax.
Yeah, and what they're gonna do is pretty much raise the prices of everything, and then they're gonna cut back. So, like for instance, like you might pay $3 for a Coke bottle in the store. They might raise it to like $7. You know what I'm saying? And so but at the end of the year, they're saying that you're not gonna have to, pay taxes at the end of the year. If you were to owe, you wouldn't be owing no more because they're gonna raise the prices on everything, pretty much raising the tax on everything to get rid of that paying tax at the end of the year. They think about doing that.
Oh, man, I don't know, bro. Yeah. You just never know. You just never know with America. Never know. But yeah, man. So yeah, it's kind of crazy that you have to work. You have to wait a week or two for your check. You was working every day, bro. That is crazy. That's crazy when you think about it. But that's why the Bible said you're supposed to pay that man or woman that day for their work. It's only right, man. When you truly think about it, it's only right. Somebody do some work for you. Pay them that day.
Ain't no worser feeling than starting a new job and having to wait to get paid. You start a new job, you happy because you started a new job, but you showing up every day really for free for the first couple of, you know what I'm saying? You just like, man, you happy you got a new job, but you need something in your bank account right now.
Yeah. Niggas starving for lunchtime.
Man, while everybody around him eating good, smacking, he's just licking with an empty stomach.
And don't let you start on a pay period. So everybody getting paid that week, and you gotta wait 2 weeks.
Ooh, yeah. Right. They got you on the plantation, my boy. Come, man. Yeah, man, that's crazy. But yeah, man, this is why the law is so perfect. What's wrong with this for people that saying that we ain't got to keep this no more? What's wrong with this?
And if we would unify, we could change that because a lot of Mexican or so-called Mexican Hispanic people, they come together whenever they do contract stuff. A lot of times, they'll subcontract, but a lot of times it'll be like we're not working unless we get paid same day. And a lot of times, people come out of that pocket, pay them under the table, same day.
Yeah.
But that's because they work as one, though. They'll all not show up. So
yeah, for sure.
They're forcing people's hands.
Yeah. Con. But can the brother get this one? Leviticus 21:7.
Leviticus 21:7. It says, "They shall not take a wife that is a whore or profane, neither shall they take a woman put away from her husband, for he is holy unto his God."
Right. So this is really talking about when you read starting that chapter, verse 1, it's talking about the priests. It's talking about the priests. So the priests, they had they was looked at on a higher level than a lot of other people. So the Bible is saying you can't take no wife that's a whore, bro. You know what I'm saying? Or profane. Or you can't take a woman that's put away from her husband. So the Lord was very specific when it came to the priests. You couldn't just be out here, you couldn't be no priest and you dealing with a whore. Oh, that's the priest right there. That's his wife. She just came out Jamal tent. Yeah, he knows she's a whore. He know that woman. He know that woman profane. The Lord like, nah, man, y'all got to be different. Y'all can't be doing that. Y'all you can't be dealing with no whore or a woman that's profane. He said, or you can't take a woman put away from her husband, man. Right. So what that is, basically he had to have a virgin. He had to have a woman that's a virgin that was never with nobody. So I just pulled this just so to show something in the law that people may not knew what that was in the law about the priests. You know, and the priests couldn't, you know, priests had different things. It went by different rules as well too, because they was the ones that was doing the offerings and the sacrifices, right? They was the ones that was going into the temple and things like that. So they had bigger roles as being priests of the Lord. I just want to pull one of those things just to show what the Lord said about that the priests couldn't do. But this is the last one right here. In Deuteronomy.
This is Deuteronomy 17 and 15. It says, "Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother."
Right. So, you know, when we had a king over us, it had to be a person that the Lord chose among our brethren. It had to be an Israelite. That's why he said you're not supposed to set a stranger over you that is not your brother. So when we had a king, right, a ruler over us, he had to be an Israelite and he had to be chosen by God. But even nowadays, when you think about like these presidents, right, when people go and vote, they're voting for 9 times out of 10, they voting for a person that's not chosen by God, and they voting for a person that's not part of their lineage or that's not their people. But the Lord said you're not supposed to set nobody above you. You're not supposed to be voting. You're not supposed to be sitting nobody over you that's not an Israelite, that's not your people, and that's not chosen by God. A lot of these people Trump wasn't chosen by God, and he not your people. If you're an Israelite, Joe Biden was not chosen by God. He's not an Israelite. But our people just go quick to vote for these people. The Lord said, nah, man, you're not supposed to do that. Because when you set somebody over you that's not an Israelite, that's not your people, and they're not chosen by God, right? How are they supposed to, what are they going to teach you? Are they going to teach you the law, statutes, and commandments? Are they going to enforce you to keep the feast days? We see what's going on now when people over us that's not our people and it's not chosen by God. What they got us celebrating? Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, pagan days. They don't know nothing. They don't, you know, our people know about, we know why we keep the high holy days. Because we Israelites. This is our heritage. So the Lord is saying, set somebody over you that's just like you, right? That keep the same thing you do. So it won't be weird when you keeping Passover or when you keeping tabernacles. You got a heathen over you, right? And they got you trying to keep Christmas. Or they trying to enforce it and it look weird because it's like, dang, like, you know, it just look weird. So this is just a law, man. That we're not supposed to be voting and putting people over us that's not our people and that's not chosen by God, man. So all praise to the Most High. That's all I had for the lesson tonight. Any brother has some?
Oh man, mighty lesson, man. We always need reminders, lessons like this to remind us, man, of what we shouldn't be doing. You know what I'm saying? And as simple as that, it's in black and white, man. It doesn't get more clear than do not do. Right? So when you see that, don't do it.
Simple.
I'll say too, for that last law, you know, that goes even to policing your own people, right? We shouldn't want to be eager to put other nations of people in authority over us as far as police officers and things of that nature, right? Because we know that, well, I can't even say that because brothers be sending some crazy stuff with Jake, how Jake treat Jake, you know what I'm saying? Jake don't treat Jake with no compassion at all. So, you know, but, you know, Jake knows Jake. You know, Jake knows Jake, you know what I'm saying? Jake knows Jake the most. So we should be the ones to have compassion on each other the most and rectify situations But yeah, man, it's a mighty lesson, man. Diving into the Torah is something that we all should do from time to time, man. Whenever you feel like, dang, what should I read today? What should I get into? Dive into the Torah, man. The brother Obadiah has a Instagram and YouTube channel where he had a little series. I don't know if he's still doing the series or not. Khan, man. And he's going into the Torah, finding out little miscellaneous laws that you may not have known about, right? And talking about it. That's something that we all should do to keep us sharp. And it's showing more love towards the Lord, because you're finding out what the Lord likes and what he doesn't like. You know what I'm saying? So Khan.
All praise to the Most High, man. So yeah, this your Wisdom Wednesday lesson, man. With your brother from the Hopeful Elect, and Lord willing, we'll be back on here Friday. The brother Azrael for a Freestyle Friday, man. So Lord willing, we'll see y'all then. Shalom.